have a little dagger, and well, I can cast a few spell.
Okay. And good. And of course, you'll be the squishiest one for a while. About since fishing is pretty prominent, it's not too bad. And even like druids and clerics make a lot of good berries to store just in case things get real bad. Um, and in fact, one of the big things is fishing. This particular, it looks like a huge tuna with a big bump on its head. But and I'll show you all later as you go along. But the bump is actually ivory on its head, and so they're worth a lot, not just for the meat or for the fish, the fish parts. They do scrimshaw with that ivory that comes from those bumps on its head. And like I said, the fish are big. They're bigger than tuna, and you can actually have like an adventure almost just like fishing for them, but they're not easy to catch. And part of that is in this game, if you try to do something like that, there's a good chance if you're not don't do it right, it'll take you right in the water with them. Um, and that's a horrible way to die in D&D is from fishing. That would be that would be a little embarrassing, I think, to die that way. Um, okay, so Chris,
I don't know, die drowning or eaten by a bugbear.
so Chris, your character is a Goliath, and Goliaths are kind of a newer race for D&D, but they've been around for maybe 3 or 4 years. Um, they are actually probably one of the better ones to have for this particular area because they're mountain people, and their tribes live in there and live in this particular region. Goliaths are big, obviously. They are on the average of 7 to 8 feet tall. Um, like I said, they live in kind of a communal tribes. Everyone does their particular job based on what they do best. It doesn't matter if you're female or male or young or old or whatever. Um, whatever job you can do, that's the one you do until you can't, and that includes like being the leader, um, or whatever. There's always someone in these particular tribes that challenge one another. Um, in the manual, kind of mentions about the Goliaths kind of being very competitive, and they're not competitive to be jerks to each other. They're competitive because I guess where they are, it's meant also for survival. Um, so if someone starts falling behind as far as doing something, they're constantly reminded of where they need to be or what they need to do to keep up with the group, um, and excel basically. Um, yeah. Oh, and that's another thing. Part of this also, you'll be coming into certain, like when you come into a snow fight, basically, or snow environment, like your movement is going to be half. Um, it is mitigated with snowshoes. Um, some of you will have to, I mean, eventually you'll probably want to buy snowshoes. There are different ways to travel as well. You can go by well, actually, what's real popular? Dog sleds. Um, but there's also sleds with reindeer, sleds with elk, sleds with polar bears. There are the people also ride axe beaks. With axe beaks. Let me see. Yeah, maybe for gnomes it may not be so bad. Um, yeah, there's an axe beak. Where is it? Oh, it doesn't show a picture. Let me try another one. Hold on. Here we go. Yeah, and those are some of the other mounts here, although they're really expensive. Um, Even if they are just a giant chicken. So, but they do real well in the snow, and they're able to. You know what? I guess it's this version's of Tauntaun in it. So,
Almost.
yeah. Let's see. And I am what's seeing Chris what name we picked. Okay. And the name in this case is it's based on how the tribes do it. So there's a regular name, and Chris usually picks one that has Iantha from World of Warcraft that she's kept with her. A tribe name, so Bearwalker, and then a tribe, whatever the last name. Um, and Chris, you picked Ranger. Okay. So Rangers is really probably very
Ianta Bearwalker?
yeah.
Jeez, that's almost a Star Wars name.
You can we can change it later too to whatever. Especially if someone earns a new name, they get, especially in the tribes like that. Um they get their new name from whatever deeds they do or from whatever things happen to them. Um so good to there. Yeah, good. Okay. And okay. Chad, yours is Galganar, right?
Galgnar, yeah.
Yeah. And what about how would you say they're what about them would you say?
So tiefling is basically a human bloodline mixed with an infernal bloodline.
Right.
So part demon is the easiest way to explain it.
Right.
I'm
Um,
curious. Was your mother the evil one? No, not the evil, but the
I don't know. I never met them. They were killed before I knew them.
okay.
I was set adrift and ended up on the Isle of Forset, raised by Nordic people who trained me in law as I was growing up. And after Ragnarok, Tyr made me one of his acolytes. And as I was meditating and praying near Mimir on the Nordic mainland, um, he quested me to go north and learn a new law and take our law out to them.
Hmm. So see, yeah, that's very that's really cool. Um, and I think I would say like with some people, the characters can be as detailed or not as detailed as you want.
What's your class?
Paladin.
Ooh,
Paladin. And it's and it will be interesting for you, especially with a paladin and basically frontier frontier town.
here
With
goes the fun.
especially since that my the religion that I am praying for is law.
Yeah, and it's interesting because I'm gonna have to figure out as well with because of Arl, because of her her presence here. But part of it is, I would say, she's I wouldn't say just because of alignment. Like in an alignment, it's like she's neutral evil, but the way that it describes her as a goddess is she really doesn't care. She's very cold. If you're like a worshiper of hers, yeah, she doesn't care. If you oppose her, she doesn't care. Like I said, she'll kill you for fun, or she'll let you live based on her, you know, her whims.
Teenager?
But
Or president.
Yeah, but she doesn't really she doesn't really care. So I don't know yet if there would be a big um group of, say, oral worshippers. Um does she roll her eyes a lot? Yeah. Sure. In fact, one of the things it does mention is she has a lot of competition with a lot of the evil goddesses and a lot of the um even good goddesses. And that's one of the, well, I don't know if I could say that. Hmm. All I can say is that a lot of gods don't like her to begin with. A lot of evil gods don't like her, and a lot of good gods don't like her. And Chad, like in Forgotten Realms, tieflings have become fairly common. Um, and yeah, there's no point in worshiping her. She doesn't. Well, she does need worshipers. All the gods and goddesses need worshipers, or they die. Um, so she must care to a certain extent as far as uh, keeping keeping themselves alive and people knowing who they are. And that's how they get their energies and how they stay as an entity.
Or maybe
Um,
she feared them into worshipping her.
yeah, there's some gods want, they do it by making you love them, and some by making you fear them. Um, in this case, Aurel is basically feeding off the almost like the emotions and either the pain or the difficulty of having to live in this area. All the blizzards that happen, all the hardship, whether people realize it or not in here, they are in a sense worshiping her because it's all her doing. And whether you do it because you love her or do it because you hate her, it's all the same. Um, and for this one, like I said, for tieflings in Forgotten Realms, they've become more and more common. So while there's still kind of a bit of, I could say, prejudice, it's not as much as it used to be. Um, it's not that big of a deal anymore. There was an incident, like, and this is, it seems like every edition of D&D, they have to have some big incident of in the world to to create more modules and to create more novels and things like that. In this case, one of the incidents was with Asmodeus. Asmodeus is a god in here, and Asmodeus had all his warlocks. And by the way, if in case you don't know who Asmodeus is in here, he's basically like a devil. Um, and he got all his warlocks to do this some type of ritual, and it made it so most of the tieflings had their heritage changed to Asmodeus as their what would you say, Chad? What is their what's it called? You know what I'm talking about?
Um,
Like, you pick what type of demon or devil it is.
yeah, just lineage.
Yeah,
Like,
the lineage. Yeah, right, Chris. Yeah, and Chad. Um, and tieflings, as you mentioned, they are from mating, for lack of a better word, between a human and one of the different devils or demons or things like that. Um, their counterpart are Azamars, which are humans that have mated with basically angels and people of that, or creatures of that particular plane of existence, I guess. Um,
So Azimar is a human with a celestial, and
yeah, and
Tiefling is a human with a. The devils and demons are fighting each other. So
yeah, yeah. Um, and so of course tieflings also, they have particular attributes, like sometimes the cloven hooves, horns, a tail, and sometimes not. Um, sometimes they look very human. and there is not that much that distinguishes them from any other human. Although I would say most aren't, because they're kind of cool to play when they don't look very human. Um, Chad, how would you say, is it your avatar showing there? But how would you say he looks like?
I actually put it in Discord.
Oh, Discord. Okay. Oh,
Yeah,
there we go. So cool, white eyes. Ooh,
yeah,
ooh.
and not a sword, but a warhammer.
A warhammer.
I couldn't find one with a warhammer, and
Yeah. Okay.
a lot of the bloodline. Once I was amongst the Nordic people, they did not care about my bloodline, and the last vestige of any sort of standoffishness that they gave to me was my name.
Okay. And I would say, like, especially in these games, in Forgotten Realms and all that, um, sometimes it happens where two just regular humans have an Asimar or a Tiefling child. It's passed down in the ancestry and keep on. It can just pop up after generations of nothing being
Skip a
there.
few generations.
Yeah, so it can be quite a shock when all of a sudden your baby's born with a tail and horns and super red or something like that. Or the opposite with wings and what do you call it? Glows a bit and is golden hue.
That's how you end up on Dr. Phil, right?
That's right.
So there's no human in our group. So how would we be received when we enter a village?
Same. 10 Towns, especially, is basically full of rejects and people that are hiding. Um, you don't go to 10 Towns, or if you're born in 10 Towns, you try to get out of there. But not a lot of people are born in the 10 Towns right now. Um, like I said, you go there because you're trying to get away from something, whether that's a memory or an actual person or the law. It just depends on why you're there. Um, but there is no just one type of person or one type of race in these areas. So being weird looking, being odd is very common for 10 towns. Um, I think the only odd thing would be if somehow you're walking down the street with just a shirt and pants and no winter clothing. Um, I would even say that a bottle or a mug is pretty common too, as you drink to and from different places to keep yourself warm. Probably something some type of very hard liquor, um, or some type of spiced wine or things like that. In fact, and this is the part that I thought was kind of interesting. There's even um, some creatures that just go that are in town all the time, like kobolds. Kobolds are pretty common these in the towns. They're usually um, a bit of troublemakers, but they're tolerated because they do a lot of services for everybody. Um, they mostly tend to steal food. They tend to um, pickpocket. They tend to do a lot of scams. In fact, one of the towns in 10 towns, and I forgot which one it is legal to pickpocket. Um, it is legal to steal from one another. And once you go into that town, you cannot get arrested and you can't be harassed or anything from stealing and pickpocketing. It is the law, or not the law, that it is okay. So everybody steals from one another constantly. Um,
Take candle.
I mean,
and
is this on Ankh Morpork?
on which one?
Ankh Morpork
Or
in the Discworld series with the Thieves Guild.
Oh, that's right. Now, and it's one of these towns. Like I said, I can't remember which one at the moment because there's 10 to remember. Um, but that's the one. Like I said, he where you go in there once you enter the city limits. too bad. And unless you can steal too, you can do the sleight of hand as well. And now it doesn't say, for example, in there, like if someone gets mad for being stolen from, and there's a fight, it's not illegal either. So if you steal and you get caught,
So I can fireball them?
I think to an extent, like if you start fireballing and you start catching the town on fire, then you have another problem.
Okay, so
Then,
you get a problem for burning the tavern, but not
Yeah.
for killing its occupant.
Yeah, and especially if they stole from you, well, whatever. Although most of the stealing and again, I forgot which town it is. We'll get to that as we go along. It's kind of considered bad form to attack after being stolen from because you can steal right back. So like if you don't want to be stolen from, don't be there.
So we'll need a lot of passive perception.
Yeah, and put things where it's really hard to get stuff. Um, and that's how that's how that will go.
So we each get bags of holding.
Get what? Bags of holding at some point.
Yeah, but
Hopefully,
they steal your bag, you're done.
as I said, they steal your bag of holding.
I just put everything in around the Enta's neck, so
I'll put the bag of holding in my portable hole.
That's right.
I put it in my bra.
Your Goliath bra.
Goliath wear bra.
That's practically a bag of holding.
Okay, so as far as like tier goes,
We forgot one member, the dwarf. I don't know.
Yeah, no, we're going to Mark next. As far as tier goes, Chad. Yeah, I'm not sure how the work came in yet. I mean, he is a huge part of the Forgotten Realms. And I could definitely see him having you be there, especially with such lawlessness all the time. So that will be interesting. See how that goes.
And the way that the Nordic people handled law on Forset and even under tier was to always find new law to make sure that they were ahead of the game. Should someone appear, being that they traveled all over the place, but should someone appear, they wanted to be able to be fair in their culture.
Okay.
So that it's twofold. I'm there to learn their law as well as inform them of ours.
Yeah, so like for example, in that town, technically the law for thievery is that it's allowed. So it's not breaking the law. So I don't know. We'll see how that goes. Excited.
It's going to be fun to wrap my head around a lot of the lawlessness, and especially with who we're going to be campaigning against. That's going to be fun to think about.
In fact, I guess I should say it now because it's going to be a big part of the game, and part of the horror is that every one of these towns sacrifices to Aura. She doesn't particularly care that they know of, but she keeps it, they think, from her making things worse. But every single town, 1 to 10 day, and that's how weeks are. They're not weeks, they're 10 days. So 10 days per month. Each town has their own way of sacrificing to her. It's the typical, some towns are the typical what you think of sacrifice, as in.
So do they say, hey, the last one to get in town on that day gets sacrificed?
Sometimes. It depends. Each town has their own way of doing it. And not every town is death. Like one of the towns, I'll tell you right now, if you are staying in that town and it's, I forgot again, I'll remember the names. It's a druid that's the leader, and he determines when it's sacrificed for that day. If you are in that town, you could possibly get killed by a mob if you don't participate in a particular sacrifice. But in that one particular sacrifice, it is of heat, and not just of heat, but of body heat. And you are required to go into like a big lodge and basically rub up against everybody for all night, um, to create heat that is sacrificed to Arl.
That sounds terrible.
In fact, the lodge, it's a sweat lodge, and it's real stinky. And of all the bodily things you can think of, it smells like that. Um, and in the morning, that's it. Um, but that's how they do their sacrifice. So each town has a different way they do this. Um, I believe there's actually only one or two towns that actually have, you know, being sacrificed. Um,
What's going on in 10 Town?
well, again, 10 towns is all the different ones. Like Bryn Shader is one of the 10 towns. There's another town in here called Goodmead. Can you guess why they're called Goodmead?
That would be the
There
place
might
to go
be-
first.
So they and I forgot what Goodmead does for sacrifice, but it has to do, I think, with beer and the mead that they make. Um, so
Do
part
they
of the
possibly?
So they make you sit in front of a table full of beer mug, and you're not allowed to drink.
no, I don't think that one is.
My
was
hope is that they give it all to the stranger.
Oh. um,
And you have to pour it on the ground.
and part of that is the horror element. And you would know this because each one of you, like I said, has been here for a while. If someone is resistant to a sacrifice, even the best and the goodest of people in town get crazy, because they think doing the sacrifice is keeping them alive. So when you do something that is against that, it it sets off that person's survival mode, and people will act irrationally. And you will already have known this because you're in the town. And then it becomes just a mob mentality of that this sacrifice has to happen. And again, whether that is through a ritual killing or through body heat, it doesn't matter. It still has to happen. Um, and so that will come into part of the play and part of the story, and it's also part of the horror, uh, of what's going on in this particular area. Um, Now there is, like, for example, people do come in and out of 10 towns. Um, so there is a way to get out of here. It's just for most people, it's just not that easy. So, especially like I said, if you need to get out of here by 20 miles and you cannot navigate out of here, and you don't have the means, you're gonna turn to a block of ice within that mile or two of leaving. Um, so Mark, what about yours? What about your character?
Okay, so I'm Henvork Lokerboff.
Okay.
I am a dwarf, and I don't really know who my clan is. I was abandoned as a child. I was found by a mercenary group called the Riders of Nesme, who took me in. They raised me, trained me in the fighting arts, and now I'm just kind of adrift trying to find my identity and get gold
Okay.
and beer.
And
So
beer.
you're a fighter?
Actually, so
I'm
what are
a
you?
barbarian.
Barbarian. And that's what I was kind of going over, is that I guess for the longest time I thought barbarian and kind of race have to go together, but it doesn't really. And barbarian is basically just a type of, in this case, warrior. Um, in this case, barbarians are warriors that are really wild and kind of lose control. And actually, for a dwarf, that would actually make sense to be more like a berserker. Um, so that would fit in just fine. And Mark, I would say, in this area, for example, um, it hasn't been too long, but probably long enough, maybe a little over 100 years, that a place called Mithril Hall was reclaimed. Um, Mithril Hall is one of the big dwarven strongholds of the world in here. It's not that far away from this area either. Um, in fact, its branches and tunnels go out for a few hundred miles, I think. Although it occupies an entire mountain and then further all the way down. By many levels. I mean, several, maybe 2, 3 miles down, maybe further, 6, 7 miles down. I forgot what it was. Um, so there is definitely a dwarven presence here, and especially at Mithril Hall, all these frontier areas of the place are kind of wild. Not, I don't mean wild as in like unruly and things like that. It's just, they're also kind of um, living partially in the, say, tunnels to Mithril Hall and partially above ground. Um, so almost like what you'd find, like as far as the setting goes, like in Scotland, where it's real cold, dreary, and stuff like that. Most of the dwarfs, though, in the area will be in Mithril Hall. But again, there's a very big group as well that stay on the surface and deal a lot with the surface people and things like that. In fact, one of the ones when I was looking at Mithril Hall, the leaders right now, some of the generals, her name is Daga Nabbit. Daga, Daga Nabbit. And she's named from her grandmother, who was named Daga, or Dag, and then her mother, who was named Daga, and then her, Daga Nabbit. And that's actually one of the characters in one of the novels. Um, but she's one of the generals right now for Mithril Hall. So I don't know if she's going to be in here or not, but she may very well be. And it's one of the kind of the very large group of characters from all the novels that might be brought in. Okay, so let's do the hold on, what I was mentioning earlier about trinkets and secrets. We're not going to kill anything this time, Chris. That'll be the next session. I promise there'll be lots of things to kill. Tons of things to kill and bash. So,
And maybe a pet to adopt.
Okay, this is first for the trinkets, and I'm gonna start with Mark. Mark, roll a percentile dice. So D100.
How do I do D100 again? Or just a D?
So basically, we're the D10, and then where it does the percentile. Okay, 27. All right. So this is for the trinket. You got it's a ripped sail, a ripped cloth sail with a symbol you don't recognize. And somehow it'll be worked into your story. You have that as a trinket. And you carry it around and it's part of your inventory, and it'll be part of your story at some point.
Sleep with it?
Do what?
Does he sleep with it?
It's
Like a
up to
blankie?
Mark, it's up to you. What would you say you do with it?
I guess I keep. How big is it?
Pretty big. It doesn't weigh a lot, but it's about I would say big as like 2 bed sheets, maybe 3.
So
And
not something I can like keep folded up into a backpack or something.
yeah, you could even fold it or have it as say a cloak as part of your keep you warm. It's big enough. It'll be like a thin cloak, but a thin cloak of like 3 layers. Um, and what you know of this cloth though, it's only part of a sail, and even that big of a part, it's only part of a sail. So how you want to do with it? If you want to wear it like a cloak, if you want to do something with it, you want to do nothing with it for now, that's fine. It's just will be part of your story later on.
Do I know how I came by it, or is that going to be part of the story?
That will be part of your story. It's like, why do you think you came by it? How you came by it? And once you get your secret in a little bit, it could possibly tie in with that. So, so we'll see how it goes. Okay, Chad.
All right. Let's see.
$35. Okay. Let's see what that is. Okay, it's weird. So your trinket, it'd be funny that you're carrying it around for whatever reason. It's a jar containing an unidentifiable, sweet, sticky substance. What it is and why you have it is partially up to you, and what it means to you or why. Although, oh, that would be identified. I said it could be honey, but that's identifiable.
How does he know it's sweet?
Maybe you can smell it, like when you open up the jar, it smells sweet. Sticky, I guess, because it sticks to the jar. So, and part of this also, and it's because I was watching this from other people doing it. It, like I said, it might tie in some way to when you get your secret.
The secret. Okay.
Yeah, and the secret is also random how you roll, but it seems like they've made it so that you can almost like work with it sometimes. And if you can't, just let me know, and we'll do something else.
I've already got an idea.
Your secret.
I'm Winnie the Pooh. Yes. Best day ever.
That would be. I think you'd be a druid, right? That's when you constantly turn into a bear.
Definitely true neutral.
Yeah. Okay. So Ayanta, Chris, roll a D100. Hmm, 65. Let's see what that is. Huh. So you got an old wooden handled ice pick stained with blood that won't wash off. Hmm. So an ice pick stained with blood that won't wash off. This.
So we
seems
got
like
the
that'd be-
Goliath running around with a nice big stain with blood.
That's part of like, isn't that part of like a Bones episode? One of the procedurals, you know what I mean?
Right?
It's like I've seen that.
Fatal attraction.
And then just stay away from the investigator class that wants to see that. The what do they call them? The CSI class. As they take out all their equipment. It's like, how did this happen? All
I
right.
don't consent to giving my DNA.
So Frankie, roll yours. Three. Ooh, okay.
I'm small. I roll small numbers.
Yeah. So you have, for whatever reason, a small wooden figurine of a yawning walrus painted in red and black. So a small wooden figurine of a walrus. That is.
Want to trade, Frankie? Have this lovely axe here.
And if you don't like it, for example, we can roll again. Or if Chris, you don't like yours, we can roll again too.
Is everybody already gone?
Yeah.
Oh,
Frankie, do you want to? Well, let's see. Mark, do you want to keep yours?
Yeah, I'll keep.
Okay. Chad, is yours okay?
Yeah, I'm good with mine.
You can think of something. And Frankie, yours is okay?
Yep.
Okay, so you want to change, Chris?
Yep.
Oh, this one is so you for Chris. For your new one. It is a piece of sea glass shaped like a unicorn horn.
Yes.
Why you have it? We don't know. It's also like a little secret to you. So, although, what's sea glass?
Glass that's been in the ocean, so it's tossed around and polished smooth.
Oh,
Cool.
okay. Oh, okay. In fact, there is a lake, I think part of a lake in Ohio that is near a bottling company, and for years they have been tossing their bottles out into the sea or into the lake, and now the lake, the beach is full of, I guess they'd be that type of glass. It's all smooth and all sorts of different colors. It's really pretty. I forgot what that is. Um, but the whole beach is like that, full of glass like that. So, okay. So now we're gonna do the secrets. Let me see. I'm trying to figure out how I can send it to you. I want to try something.
You just have to click on the name and.
Yeah. Well, in here, and I think I'll whisper it.
Oh
So,
yeah, that too.
yeah, so it'll be easier. And plus, they'll be able to. The audience at home will be able to see if there's any audience. So, okay, Mark. So in this case, roll. Ah,
They'll see our secret.
yeah, the people at home can. It's okay. It's not a big deal. 1d17. How do you roll that? 1d17.
/roll space 1d17 should do it.
Oh, that's right. Thank you, Chad.
Mhm.
So does it make any sense, Mark, how to do that?
Oh, look at that.
Okay. So 13. Oh, yeah, Chad, that's the beach. Pretty, huh?
Very.
Just glad. And I think there's like old Sprite bottles and Coke bottles and crap like that. So, oh, Mark, okay. You might want this because it really does work with your trinket. Here we go. Let's see if you can read it. Try one more time. Let's see if I try this. Try something else. Share. No, that's with minimize clear link. No. It does not let me. 1 second. Okay. I'm gonna type it to you, Mark, okay, in Discord.
All right.
So and let me see if I can copy and paste.
Okay.
Yeah. And there's more to it because it's there's all these words, but it's not letting me share, of course.
I don't like that laugh he gave, though.
Let me see. says but basically, Mark, and I'll send this to you in just a little bit. It has a little bit more about it, but it could explain your trinket a bit.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. And I wish I could do that. Let me see. One more. Just give me a few seconds here. I'm gonna try something. Well, you got that as a whisper, right?
Received it. I don't know if it's a whisper. It has a
Yeah, I was
little
just kind of.
icon next to you.
Yeah, I was just typing numbers. Let me try again. Oh, you know what? How about this? Because it's a little bit. I can't put it in. Can you all leave to from the Discord into go to Iron? We call it Iron Forge, and
Iron Guard.
yeah, Iron Guard rather, Iron Forge, like from World of Warcraft, and then one at a time, and I'll read it to you out loud. Is that okay?
Sure.
Okay, and then I'll call you back. So Mark, stay here. Chad and Ayanta and Frankie, go to the other channel, and then I'll call you back when it's your turn.
Okay.
So this won't take us too long. Let's see. Okay, so Mark, the pirate cannibal. It says I served aboard the ship called the Dark Duchess, a pirate ship from the city of Luskin. After the vessel got stuck in the ice, everyone but the captain abandoned the vessel and fled to 10 towns. We got lost in a blizzard along the way. I was the only one who made it, and only by eating my mates. And the ship and its treasure are still out there.
So kind of like the Donner Party.
Yeah. Or was it what's that one where they in the Andes?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So it's not that you ate them because you were evil.
Yeah,
You ate
it's out
them.
of necessity.
Yeah, the necessity. You had to survive. Um, so, but that would also explain, like I said, the trinkets seem to work in a way with this. It would explain the sale you have.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, is that okay?
That works.
That works. Okay.
Yep.
All right. So go to the channel and send in Chad next.
Okay.
Okay. Hey, Chad.
Hey.
Okay. So do the 1d17.
Seriously?
Oh, you got the same. Okay.
Yeah, I can re-roll.
Yeah, reroll.
There we go.
3. Okay. Now, and part of this again is if you want to use it, if it doesn't work, we can roll again.
Okay.
This one, however, this one's very interesting to work with you. It's called Midwinter Child. Arl, the one that the whole thing is about, all the misery she's causing. Arl the Frost Maiden has blessed you, for you were born on the midwinter holiday. You have resistance to cold damage. In fact, you also have cold resistance. You can go, say, in almost practically naked, up to negative 50-degree weather. After that, it does become a problem. But so even though you're a paladin of Tyr, Oral, in her, what do you call it, uh, haphazardous, whatever, has blessed you with that. Is that okay, or would you like another one?
No, that's awesome.
It's just kind of weird, huh?
I mean,
Uh,
it's strange in that the Nordic groups all live in cold weather as well, so it
Yeah.
all kind of rolls in. I'm just much further north than I thought I'd be.
Yeah. So part of that will also be whether you want to exploit it or hide it, that you can take that cold damage and what do you call it, cold weather real easy. It's up to you. So yeah. Okay.
Because
So
on one hand, I don't. Well, yeah,
and,
that's
and
already
part of
going to
it
be.
part of it may be a time where things are so bad in whatever situation is going on that people are just going to know whether you want them to or not.
Yeah, you can't be stoic in a blizzard.
Yeah. No. Well, you know what? Oh, never mind. Never mind. There was something else, but it doesn't quite work with um what I was thinking. Okay. So go back and then send Chris next.
Chris. Okay.
Yeah. Hey, sweetie.
Hi there.
So roll 1d17. Although we already had a same roll. 8. 8. Oh my goodness. This is the one that we talked about earlier, and you keep on rolling the same thing.
Oh my goodness. Tell me what it is.
It's the littlest Yeti. Remember? I was raised by Yeti, although I relied on my ferocious guardians for food and warmth and never quite adapted to the cold. I speak Yeti and have advantages on charisma checks made to influence Yeti or improve their attitudes.
Awesome.
Is that one okay?
Heck yeah.
Because it kind of, and so you keep on rolling that same one we did. Remember we did it earlier, and it kind of makes sense in a way. So part of your story is that whether it was the whole time or partially the time, you were raised by a Yeti or even a family of Yetis. Although to me, you wouldn't be that small of a Yeti. Because, but I guess, yeah, considering how big they get, you would be the smallest. But not like if, say, Frankie's character had been the littlest Yeti.
That'd be like a flea.
Yeah, that wouldn't quite work. In this case, it works out for you. Okay, so that sounds pretty good, right?
I'll take it.
Yeah, and what's going to happen though is you're going to have to decide if you want to let your group know, or they might know without you telling them, because if you're going to have a lot of Yeti encounters.
Yeah, we're gonna let them figure it out.
Yeah. So okay, and send Frankie.
Okay.
All right, we're almost done.
Oh, okay.
And then we'll fight a lot next time.
You sweet talker, you.
I know. Hey, Frankie. Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so go ahead and roll 1d17, and hopefully we don't have a 7. Okay, you rolled one that I think is cool, but I'm gonna let you roll another one too. So you're gonna get this one first, but this one's more. Okay, let me read it to you. Dritz Fan. I once met the famous Drow Ranger, Dritz du Urden. In fact, I have a tattered piece of his famous green cloak and would never think to part with it. So you're a Dritz fanboy. But that one's kind of like it's okay. I want you to roll another one too.
It's not dark enough.
What, the Dritz fanboy? No, because there's that's good, but you can keep that one as well, but you need to get one more. So go ahead.
Somebody already has a tree, so you want me to reroll?
Yeah. And I guess it's going to happen sometimes. 4, 4. Ooh. Now, Frankie, you tell me if you want to do this one or not, okay? This is completely up to you. If you don't like it, you roll another one, okay? Doppelganger. I'm a shape changer. I have none of the traits of the race I'm imitating, but I retain my class features, backgrounds, and alignment. I have dark vision out to a range of 60 feet. I can use an action to do either of the following at will. I can cast Detect Thoughts, requiring no components. My spellcasting ability is Intelligence. My spell's Wisdom save. DC 8 or 8 plus my proficiency bonus, plus my intelligence modifier. I can polymorph into any humanoid I have seen or back into my true form. My statistics, other than my size, don't change. Any equipment I'm wearing or carrying isn't transformed, and I revert to my true form when I die. Do you want to keep that one?
But how would that work? I mean, am I still a wizard?
You're still a wizard, yeah. In this case, you would be pretending to be a gnome. And there's others, so if you don't like that one, we can choose another one.
You'll have to. That was a little complicated, so you'll have to send me a text. But I'm okay with
You're
it.
okay with that? So basically, everything about you will be the same. It's just that you'll be able to polymorph if you want to into any humanoid form you like. And you can innately cast Detect Thoughts. So that's the only difference. So you retain your class features, background, and alignment. And when you have dark vision, or do gnomes already? Do
Take it.
gnomes already have dark vision?
Yes.
They do. Okay. So like I said, you've been masquerading as this gnome, but you can change whenever you want. So you can work with that?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Okay. Oh, and you're a Dritz fan.
Okay, so I'll go and get the others.
Yeah, please. Okay.
Come back.
And tell them, okay.
Book sale.
Oh, what was your trinket, Frankie?
I have a walrus. Uh, I have a little statue of a young walrus,
Okay.
red and black.
Okay. So just gonna, if you can, make sure that those in your character sheets, the trinkets. Like I said, sometimes the trinkets are gonna work with your secret, and sometimes maybe not. But you can we can work it in. Um, yeah. So, so that how it goes. For some, like I said, I think the trinket works perfectly. For some, maybe some story writing will have to be done a little bit. So, and the last part we were going to talk about, would you like to be that you all know each other already, or like something brings you together? Y'all have an opinion about that?
I don't.
I don't.
If you don't, it's okay.
Fine with me.
Like what I thought I would do is that, and I'll have to create a like an NPC. Maybe you're part of a newly formed adventuring group, as there's not a lot of adventuring groups here in 10 Towns. And this adventuring group, since you all are baby adventurers, will be doing a lot of different things that people in the 10 Towns need done. At first, of course, it's going to be, drudge work, but not, not cleaning out like Axe Peak stalls, but like finding something or retrieving some type of treasure, rescuing people, stuff like that. And who the NPC is that you're working for and what the outfit is called. I have an idea, and I'll use it that way. In fact, I have a very specific idea of how to do it, and we'll go from there. And that so our next session, we'll start with that, and with the different basically adventures and different quests from the different people around the area. And basically also gives you a chance to know all the different characters and all the different people of the different towns in 10 Town. And kind of, in a way get invested in the area, so that later on, if involves you saving something or saving a town or saving anything, you actually know why and who's involved and the people involved. So that sound good?
Works for me.
Okay.
Good to me.
Thanks.
So everyone knows their secret. Everyone has their trinket. Actually, I think everyone got a really good secret. The only one I would say, and Mark, I may give you another secret as well, in addition to the one that you have. I'm going to look for one, and I might give you, like I said, an extra one, because yours is a little bit different than the other three. And I can't say how, but like I said, I'm going to give you just one more if you don't mind.
I don't mind.
Yeah, and I'll pick it for you, though, but I'll pick something good.
Okay.
So, and okay. So thank you all. Next time we meet, we'll start off chapter 1 and session 1.
Excellent.
Gotcha.
Okay. All right. Y'all have a good night.